Start with bucket fill, something good. I'm not sure why this is. What do we got? What's good?
My husband,
Go ahead.
my husband's currently right now taking his journeyman's test.
Yeah.
I'd love to bucket fill Jordan. She helped me with the showing so that I could try to take some time off. It didn't really work, but I really appreciate that she showed my clients the showing really short notice. Welcome.
Awesome.
Did they buy it? So they made an offer and then they retracted their offer. One of those.
One of those fun ones. What else? What else is good?
On Tuesday, I had a seller, have accepted an offer, and then I had a buyer that got an offer.
Nice.
Just double of two different clients on the same day.
Perfect.
Fishing on Mille Lacs for the last one with really poor coverage on the laptop on the boat. But it happened.
Okay, did you catch fish too? Like some night? Okay, I'm like, the real question here.
Yes, walleye have been cleaned and eaten.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. What else? He's like, seriously, that's a round of applause there. What else?
I'll bucket fill Alyssa on our team. She just reported out last night to our Slack channel that she is just one contract away from her goal of 10 contracts. So,
Awesome. That's really awesome. What else? I have an adult child now. She turned 18 yesterday. That's terrifying. And she already said, well, I'm an adult now. I said, well, great. You can start paying rent.
Smoking on the porch.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, you can buy cigarettes and you can gamble. And she's like, really?
You
I was
can't even
like-
buy cigarettes anymore. You gotta be
Yeah,
21.
you're 21, yeah.
You gotta be 21. They changed
So
that.
I have no idea.
I learned that this year.
Oh,
Isn't that
never
wild?
mind.
But she can vote.
This- My fiance's kid went to buy,
Even more important.
didn't get carded. I'm like, well, you gotta go for cigarettes.
Vote.
Yeah, tell him 21. What?
I didn't know that. I was like, guess not. I guess you
mean-
can't buy cigarettes. Never mind. Guess it's not everywhere. You can buy lottery.
I think you can, yeah.
Yes. Lottery tickets you can.
You should give her the death and taxes speech. Now that you're an adult.
Yeah.
Death and taxes.
Well, she thinks it's great that she got like $300 back on her taxes this year. She was like, oh, it was so awesome. I was like, oh, it's gonna change. I was like, that's gonna change that. What else? What else is good?
Yeah.
Anything else good? Nothing? All right, moving on. All right, so June's training calendar is out. As always, remember you can click to be able to sign up for the classes, and we encourage everyone to sign up for the classes so we know who is all going to be in the class for that day for the presenter. So we've got our commercial meeting. We have a bi-weekly block party starting today. So after the team meeting, go down the stairs. No, you guys are not doing it. It's the office. I thought you looked at like, shit. And then go downstairs. It's on this side of the building still, correct?
The picnic tables.
Awesome. Then we have our commercial team meeting in the morning on Tuesday, the 10th. We have build your social media brand. You're going to notice a lot of things are on social media here in June. We've got free CE on the 17th. We've got the Quantum Leap watch party on the 13th. We only have 2 people signed up for this, which I think is really, really small amount of people for what value, and it's free, and it's not even for any agent in this office. So I'm not asking you to go to trainings. But I do think this is a really great reach out to any of your sphere, family, your social media, because any young adult between the ages of 18 and 30 could really, really, really benefit from this class, just in regards to what they want to do, and hear from Gary himself on how to kind of build that vision out.
And do you think that's a good way to say it if you were to reach out to someone and call them and say, hey, your adult child would be great to come to this? What would be a good thing to say?
I mean, if I was to like, I sent something out to all of my like friends that have graduation, like graduating seniors, right? I'm like, hey, I know that there's a huge life change happening for your child. I just want to give you an opportunity. This is an awesome class for them to, one, learn from Gary Keller, who is the head of Keller Williams. Has nothing to do with real estate, quite honestly. It has to do with building a vision and building a game plan as you move forward in adulthood.
Awesome, love it.
That's what I would say,
That's
right? And then they're like, oh, if you want more information, here it is. Have them sign up. It's free. There will be lunch. It's going to be exciting. It's a great opportunity.
I would add to that, I'm actually a QL instructor, and so the way I would describe QL is it's literally Gary's way of helping young people create their life plan. Everything from the question that every high schooler gets asked at graduation party, right? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm 36 and still trying to figure it out. But
I want to be like Bethany.
but that all the way to like who you surround yourself with matters, to actually creating a financial plan. Like, they leave with a financial plan and goal. So
Awesome.
it's actually creating a business plan for their life.
Love it. That's perfect. Thank you.
Any questions around that? Who's reached out to people or made phone calls about this? Okay. This is a really great, no pressure, opportunity to make calls to people that are in your sphere that has, again, nothing to do with real estate, right? Like, and even if they don't have kids, I'm sure they know people that are between the ages of 18 and 30, most likely. Again, if you're scared to start calling your sphere, do it with this. Be like, hey, I have this opportunity. I don't know if you're interested at all, but if you know of anybody. And then all of a sudden it's going to be a lot easier the next time you call them to be like, oh, hey, I was just curious. Remember when I gave you this opportunity? If you know anybody, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, great opportunity for that, to make a touch. And I would like to fill the room with a ton of people. I think it's going to be a great event.
And now the graphic again after this.
Awesome. Boat cruise, we are like, we're getting some people. Candy has it on her door, for the boat cruise. It's gonna be July 16th. The way that you get a ticket to go to this cruise is you get a listing. Not only do you sign a listing between May 1st and June 30th, you have to submit that to Command, and you have to push submit. So you put it into Command and then you submit that. It can be a withheld, it can be an active, it can be a coming soon. So it does not have to be an active listing. If you are a buyer's agent or on a team, you just have to give a referral to your rainmaker, your team lead. They then sign it, put it into Command and submit. If you are support on a team and your team lead has a new listing, you automatically are on the boat. Any questions around that?
What's the date of the cruise?
July 16th.
Awesome. Did we just say that?
We started out with that, but you are okay, Derek.
Let me close with the details.
Yeah.
Open and close with it.
Good point, good point, yeah.
Just remember to get it in Command. I've had people be like, I'm on the boat. And I'm like, no, you're not, because it's not in Command. So just remember to get it in Command. And again,
By the way, though, that shouldn't even be a question, because when you sign a listing, it has to be in Command, because you have to put it as a withhold. So the fact that that's even like put out there is not something that should be, because again, you guys know that once the listing's signed, it has to be withheld within 2 days.
Yeah. And if you have an admin or a transaction coordinating company that does it for you, just ask them to make sure they submit it into the market center so we are aware of it.
and again, it's the contract dates. A lot
Yeah.
of people are uploading stuff and they're like, this counts. And I'm like, you put it on in May, but it was signed in March. So remember, it's a contract date.
Signed.
Signed the listing. You met with that person, they signed the contract May 1st through June 30th. And it's not a re-sign, so if you did one in April, you don't get to re-sign it. A new listing. And guys, you're just cheating yourself if you do that, by the way. Like, the whole point of this is so that you get business and listings. Like, the vote is fun and everything, but it's really to get you into production, right?
Ooh. So
I'll let you talk all about this.
between now and next week, if you check your CE and you email me how many credits you have left
to do, like how many you have left.
And when you'll be done.
And when you, that would be great. And when you'll be done, you will be entered into the drawing and we will draw at next team meeting. I love how like just a little bit of shame email saying you still have CE credits and you're like, yeah, but I could get a gift card.
Is that only for like the agents who are already been here for a while, or does that also mean it's ones that have been?
Email me, maybe you've done some already. That's
Oh, so if you're
fantastic.
done, if you're done and you have 0 credits and you email
Email
me.
me. Yeah.
Curious.
Oh,
You know, you could do all exclamation point.
Got it.
Please email me where you're at. That'd be awesome. I'm just laughing at 2 people talking about their CES here right now. All right, any questions around that?
This is one of the first years that I actually didn't pay for one single CD.
Yeah, God, you're done.
And I finished yesterday. I took that free one on the module.
Yeah, online.
And I know John Anderson really well, who does it, but I fell asleep like
It timed him out. He just had to keep.
yeah, right.
All right, any questions around CE at all? You do have to do it, so, otherwise you get a fun email at the end of, or the beginning of July, I guess, so.
Or your license gets sent back.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have a license.
7 days. Well, that's the fun email that gets sent.
Oh, okay.
The license got sent back.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, so we did our block party. We do have a sign up, for the block parties. We will pass this around. It'll also be at the front desk. So if you, your team, a vendor is wanting to sponsor, please put their name on here and then, what you'll be bringing, as well. Questions around that at all? These are always fun.
Starts today, immediately after team meeting.
Starts today.
Jake and I will be down there grilling. Come join us.
Come join us. All right. Okay, I think we touched on it a little bit, and I didn't know if I was supposed to say anything, and I guess it's okay now. So KW and Canva are coming together as a partnership, which is huge. I think a lot of people probably use Canva for most of their marketing. So now it's going to be integrated within Command, within KW, giving you an opportunity to have all of those, and some people might pay for it. They might pay for premium already. It's going to be now part of our company. Do you guys have questions around this? I don't remember. When is the actual launch? Is it Q3? Yeah.
is it premium that you get?
My understanding is that yes, so if you have the pro, then it'll be the same as kind of
Is what that is. Yeah. But your new 3 starts, yes. Any questions around it? This is really exciting. It's super exciting. No questions? You guys are just happy? Awesome. All right, so we are maybe continuing, but it's going to be more consistent. What we're finding, and I think it's important to talk about at the ALC meeting, is growth of the market center is huge, right? Just like growth of your business, referrals, and like you, we have the most success with referrals. And not only do we have the most success with referrals, we have the most success with warm referrals. So a warm referral is something like, hey, I'm going to put you and such on a text message together, right? Heather's going to say, I'm going to introduce you to Jacob. Hey, this is Amy, the team lead, blah, 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 whatever you want to say in it. They're interested in getting into real estate, right? Then we put them into K-Prep and K-Score and they can get their license. You can do the same thing with existing agents. Right now, we're doing a huge push for people that want to get into real estate, and we're going to be doing career nights once a month. This month it is June. It's not really career nights, it's kind of midday now. It's June 26th, so it's a Thursday. It's at 3:00. And we're going to do another little incentive. So if you give us a name and they sign up for this class, we want to, again, have 20 to 30 people in each class each month, right? Because our success rate with that of getting agents in, also them staying and being successful in the business is much, much higher than us randomly putting out ads or cold calling. You get a $20 bill from the market center when that happens. Straight cash. They don't even have to join the market center. We want them to, but we want them to be here to hear about career night and getting their license. So when you do that, you will get a $20 bill in cash. If someone does that today during this team meeting, we have cash here for you already. So that's the QR code for signing up. And we would love your referrals for it. Do you guys have questions around that? Fill the room, yeah.
$20 per.
$20 per person.
And it's also, you
I
guys.
mean, you can make some money. I mean, this could be a new job
You
for
guys
you.
know what K-score, K-prep and K-score is? It's what is discounted? How would you say it?
It is an opportunity that we give where you have the classes at no cost.
To you. So
Nope, and you cannot say to
Say
any
the word.
word. You can't say they have free word, right, to anybody, like, you can't. It just say, hey,
Covers most of the programs, because
Yep.
there are different things you can add on that's gonna cost them money. So most of the cost would be the preferred language.
So they just need to sign up and show up.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, they don't have to show up. I hope they show up. I hope you're not just sending someone it, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
but, signing up and coming to the.
I just wanted to make sure it was clear because you had shared best referral is like a group text. but
Oh, yep.
really, which is true, but for the sake of
For this particular thing, they have to sign up. Yep. Fair? Questions around that?
It's gonna be the same cadence every month, like third Thursday or whatever that is.
It's gonna be, yep, Thursday at 3 o'clock. We're hoping it ends up being the third or fourth Thursday. It all depends on each month as different holidays are rolling in, but yes. Any other questions? All right. Before we do our ALC meeting, I wanted Amy to talk a little bit about, you want to introduce yourself? Do you want to come up or do you want to sit there and do your?
Come up.
Okay. So Amy's on government affairs, and there's a few different things that are happening that you guys are probably experiencing. I know some agents are experiencing it already with insurance. And so I wanted you to talk a little bit about what you know and what, kind of where that's going right now.
Yeah, so in the Governmental Affairs Committee, we're putting a task force together for homeowners and commercial industry for insurance, on the insurance part, the why insurance is going up and why in certain cities the insurance is shrinking or disappearing, especially like in fire like. And so we're trying to do a task force with realtors, legislators, and insurance people in the industry, trying to come up with something that we could help at a state level and try to make insurance more affordable again.
Or even able to
Yeah.
get, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some, I mean, wow, it's not in here, but they just had a situation where someone couldn't get insurance because of knob and tooth, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, essentially ruined the deal completely.
Yeah,
Um,
and some cities, they're canceling policies and now there's only 2 insurance companies versus every insurance company. So then they have to only go for them and then they're at the highest premium. We're trying to combat that and figure out a good solution for the state to be able to make it work.
Awesome. How does someone get involved in that if they want to, or just more information around it?
Contact me or the Minnesota Realtors Association has a lot of information about that as well.
Awesome. Anybody have questions around that? Is anyone coming up against that a little bit with roof age or electrical or anything, or just noticing that there's not as much opportunity for buyers? Yeah.
I have a question around aluminum wiring. You want to have fun?
I recently had a house, luckily buyers okayed it, but it wasn't something, they wanted to have it rewired, so the inspector wanted to have it all rewired. But luckily,
Approved. Okay. I don't know much about that. That might be something
that's
to,
kind of a new thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it was, after the Vietnam War and the conflict was short, and so it's that era of homes. And I have one that I'm about to list. So it's just.
I would get an estimate in advance of what it's gonna cost to rewire the house. I'd start preparing your seller.
I wouldn't put that in supplements either. Wouldn't.
But I would have it on hand.
And so we've sold many homes with aluminum wiring and we've never had to rewire it. Oftentimes it's able, as long as it's, have it inspected, of course, I mean, the buyer can choose to if they want, but I wouldn't necessarily assume that you have to do that. So yeah, I wouldn't even really disclose it as you need to, but don't oversell it that it's aluminum.
Awesome.
Thank you.
FYI, I'm also on the Mille Lacs Fisheries Advisory Committee, so when they come up with that lake and the properties around there, be happy to give you some of that as well.
You guys can also exchange where the fish are on that lake. All right, so let's get our June ALC meeting started. Do I hear a motion to start? Got it. All right. So as always, and if you've never been to an ALC meeting, it's our Agent Leadership Council. So agents are part of the top 20% of our market center. And this is an opportunity. One, we're reading a book about just growth and kind of talking about different things in our life, generally, personally, right, and business-wise, and how that can affect us. And then two, they open up their entire business to the market center right now, and they, share some pretty vulnerable things, like what their goals are, if they're on task for it, if they're not, what they would have to shift to get back onto goal. It's not an easy place to be up here. So again, every one of these meetings, I'm very grateful that they're willing to do this, as well as be able to have you see what their businesses look like, because each person up here runs it very differently. Whether or not it's lead gen, whether or not it's how their team is structured. So you can always learn something from each one of them. So let's start. The book that we're reading is The Mountain Is You. If you guys haven't been to one of these, we kind of broke it down into 12 months. Who wants to start kind of with their aha from this portion of the book?
I'll go. Let's see, one thing that stood out to me was just one paragraph. If you want to exercise more, do it now for just 10 minutes. If you want to read one page. If you want to meditate, do so for 30 seconds. So some notes that I had. So just get started. The hardest part of anything is just getting started. I trick myself consistently with things that way, whether it's working out or just calling people. I'll tell myself to just go exercise for 10 minutes. Oftentimes it becomes 45. Make 5 phone calls. Oftentimes becomes 50.
Awesome. I don't even know what Jose's smiling at right now, because if we're even talking about goals right now.
We're just remembering, as Jacob brings up exercising and calls, that he didn't hit his call goal.
You did
So
not.
he has to do push-ups in front of the entire room
That
later.
was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but you didn't show up after that. We'll do that after this so that we don't distract anybody, but we will make sure that those push-ups are done. And what was it, 50?
I don't know.
I think it was 50 push-ups.
Double or no?
It was 100? So Ben, we're not leaving him alone. This is happening in front of everyone.
All right,
today.
so my next thing,
And nobody else is here.
I mean, and so I had a lot of what Jacob had there too, but it's just like an epiphany of like a big change that you want to have isn't what actually gets you that change. It's a small thing. And then mental strength is not just hoping that nothing ever goes wrong. It's believing that we have the capacity to handle it if it does, and just preparing for that and knowing that you can do it.
Something that I can piggyback on that. I think there were a lot of little nuggets, but this moment is not my life. It is a moment in my life.
Well, because I think, especially for that, right? You think that is the biggest thing that's happening, and it will be done at a blink of an eye, right? You move on, and you may think about it, you may not. It's a small piece of time.
And they mentioned, to piggyback off that, they mentioned something about like spotlighting, where we're always very focused on, you know, if something bad happens, what other people are gonna think. But at the end of the day, nobody really cares about us. They're more focused on themselves, so they're gonna forget about your embarrassing incident or whatever happens like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had a couple, items kind of piggybacking up for these guys. Adversity makes us creative and makes things interesting. And if you don't actually have problems, your mind is going to create problems. So you're gonna focus on things that aren't important just because you don't have any adversity at the moment. Which makes it pretty good.
Well, they say, you know, if there's no adversity, you become prone to like panic attacks and anxiety, right? Because then you all of a sudden snowball things that aren't even necessarily real. You have a higher risk of that.
And then also it said, there was a piece where it said, and I'm listening to the book, not reading it, so. But there was a piece of it that says that we're people who want to, so you can choose to be a product of your actions, or you can think as life just happening to you. And I thought that was really important.
It has reminded me, this section, to like really pay attention to what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking about it. You can go down rabbit holes so quickly when you start just spiraling, like letting your brain just go in any direction. It's just bad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then one more thing, it also said, there was a piece where it said anything that is new will feel uncomfortable, even if it's good. I like that.
Stephanie?
I was gonna find exactly the quote that we're talking about, because I know I underlined it. I think one section that I highlighted is the bigger paragraph that I underlined, but just start it, but your big life change is gonna force you to level up in every way imaginable. The way to overcome the initial fear of stepping into the unknown. Familiarize yourself with it, make it a part of you, one that you're certain you're prepared for, and then the part that I did underline was end of that you deserve. There's a part later in the chapter too where I underlined literally just because I think that sometimes believing that we don't deserve certain things, and that's our like self-sabotage or limiting belief for what creates anxiety for us.
Anything else around this part? I think this part's incredibly interesting in hitting at like the middle of the year right now, right? Because I think there's a lot of reflection that people do when they look at their business year, or, you know, summer's like, there's just a lot of different things. And it's a time to shift, right? Because we can be thinking a certain way, or we can be having thoughts about it, and kind of shifting that can make all the difference. So I think it's, I don't know, interesting how it kind of is laying out right in June. But any other things from the book at all? Are you enjoying the book? Are you learning some things from it? And like putting them towards your life or your business? Live question.
Okay, I'll be super honest. I like the book. I'm not gonna say I love it. I like the book. It feels really deep sometimes. Like it is not a surface level book. The book that I either finish the chapter and I feel really good, or I feel really shitty. So, I'm like, wow, I need to go back to therapy. But I think what I realized though is nothing in here is like mind blowing. Like nothing that we share is probably a new concept to anyone. It's just the reminders of the things that, quite frankly, we know, or that I would actually say, like, I would argue the author of this wrote this to her like younger self. Like, what are the things that you wish you could have told your younger self or your previous self? Like, I think about even in real estate terms, like the things I remember the first time I was served as a realtor, and a mentor of mine said, congratulations, you've now reached the level of your business that you need to have a line item on your P&L for legal fees. And it was like such a different way to think about that, right? Like I'm stressed because I'm like, I've never been accused of anything before, and now my client, you know, it was this whole thing about a seller's disclosure, whatever. But to
Was this
reframe.
recently or was that
No,
a different
this
time
is
that you were served?
Very,
Okay.
very long time. I was not here. Although, you know, I was served repeatedly in the front.
She literally like, I was like, are you gonna open that right here, like right here? And she was like, well, all right. And then she like went back into her office.
Okay, anyway, but the point is, very, very different way of looking at it. And I think that as you grow in your business, the things that stressed me out when I had 1 or 2 deals going on, I wouldn't bat an eye at today. And not to talk down to the people that are, that's just the reality of where they're at. But the faster you can get yourself to a mindset of like, the world's not ending. There's actually not a real estate emergency unless their house is on fire, and they shouldn't be calling me. Like, they should be calling fire department. So just shifting your mindset, I think that's kind of what I've gotten from this. Like, it's an overall of the book is like, what are the things that I need to keep reminding myself of? Because we're never, if we're climbing the mountain, right, the mountain is you. We're never at the top. There's no end in sight. Our growth continues to happen. So what's going to stress me out today, I probably won't give 2 craps about in a year or 2. It's just not, they're not even gonna, I won't bat an eye.
Fair. All right.
Somebody else might have something to say.
Just set it up.
Everyone else is the ones that text me and go, what were we supposed to read?
I like this chapter though. I'm just generally an anxious person, so
Yeah.
a lot of Tums lately, and this is
It's a food group.
Oh.
That's rich.
Not good way.
I enjoy the chapter.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. We will move on to going through our goals. Who wants to start with that and kind of where we're at, as an overview, and what's working, what might not be working, and what you'd be shifting if, either one is happening.
Start her off. Let's see, so my.
Yep.
My goal was 4375 for dials. I was short at 1904. Contacts 437.5. Actual was 204. Appointments goal was 20, actual was 20. Contracts 11.43, actual was 7. Closed units 8. My goal, actual was 1. DCI goal 88,000, actual was 10,530. Profit goal was 3,017, actual was just under 3,000 loss.
Okay, so what happened in May, or, just in regards to goal wise, appointments, obviously you hit right on, right, at the 20 and 20. Calls were a little bit lower. So what, was that residual? Was that follow-up? Was that, follow-up that you got the appointments? Okay, are you gonna shift anything? Are you on for the year and that was just kind of a month? Or is it one where, what does your business look like as you're coming mid-year?
I'm gonna be short, more
Okay.
likely.
Okay.
But the pipeline looks solid,
Okay.
let's say. June looks good. July, I think, actually, like a 2.
Okay.
Setting high goals and playing close. Yes.
It was a trick his mind,
So just to be fair, I feel like everyone's very close on this ALC, so no, we're not being mean to anybody. It's just, we meet every single week and talk about goals, and sometimes there's jokes, so.
Oh, no, we're being mean to him.
But there are a lot of, I don't like you right now, so that come out, and it's great.
I'm just-
No, that's not what she said.
I'm just not because he beat me at a arm wrestling match, but.
Yeah, that also happened. Does anybody have questions around, and because I'd like you guys all to kind of talk, right, about any questions for Jacob at all? All right. Bethany.
I can go. So my goals are actually gonna be shifting. I've been trying to like separate mine versus teams and it's just too messy. So by next month, I will have a better team number. Fast math for the team is we should have done 3,600 dials. We did 1,905. Fast math for the team, we should have done 500 contacts. We did 317. Appointments should have been 25. There were 15. Contracts, 19. Goal, 10 actual signed. Closed units, the goal was 14, closed 6. Our GCI goal was 173,000. We closed 107, almost 108. And our profit goal is about a third of what it should be, but it is profitable.
Just want to point out, you guys had, one more dial than Jacob.
But like an entire team. No, I pulled it from the CRM.
I just laughing because I'm like, I've never seen those numbers so close. And I was like, really? 1905?
One more stuff.
What you should be saying is she has 9 more people.
Anyways, moving on from that.
Let me fight your battle for you.
Okay, so, I mean, tell me a little bit about that. So we're profitable, came short on a few of the goals. How do the closings, set you for the year, right? As you know, I mean.
So we're behind, but not significantly. We, year to date, like last month was a super big month for us and next month is gonna be a really big month. So I'm kind of looking at it like the average. I'm not worried about this month.
Is the
being
gap
around.
shrinking with those months?
Somewhat. The challenge, I'll just be real transparent. I don't even have any team members on Zoom right now, but the energy sucks on our team lately around lead gen. And so that's been the number one conversation is I'm just a really big believer, and I'm sorry if this is across like arrogant, but like I believe that we can drum up business every single freaking day if we just know what to say to someone. Like you could go work from a coffee shop and you could drum up a deal. You could go work from anywhere. And I think the quote we literally talked about in our team does a power up call every day at 8:30. And what we talked about this morning is there's a quote, we overcomplicate things to justify our inaction. And it's like, it's actually not that hard. Just pick up the phone and call 5 people while you're driving. Pick up the phone, call someone while you're folding laundry. Like it literally is not that hard. And yet you make it like, all I want you to do is to reach out to someone and talk to them in a while and say, hey Jess, it's Bethany from the Bethany Nelson group. I'm so sorry I haven't been in touch lately. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Awesome. Do you have any real estate related goals right now that I can help you with this summer? A lot of people are thinking about home maintenance while the weather's great. Like you're not even trying to sell them a house, you're just trying to like have a real estate conversation with them. So the activities should be up in June if we're doing what we should be doing. And I think we've got a couple people that are locked in and a couple people that I can't, as their leader, I can't make them want what they don't want or what they're not willing to do.
Questions for Bethany? All right, Jose. You say 1906 for contact?
Dials.
Or dials, I mean.
Dials, my goal was 110. I had 1906.
Just keep going down.
I had 120, and then contacts, it was the goals 50, and we actually, and then I had 75. When it comes to appointments, the goal was 22, scheduled 32 appointments. Contracts, the goal was 12, and ended up with 7. And when it came to close units, the goal was 10, closed 2.
Okay. Let's talk about, I mean, your contacts are, you were above goal, even for appointments. I mean, 32 appointments is a lot of appointments. I mean, in a month, I mean, that's a lot of appointments for one person, right? Tell me a little bit about that, just in regards to, you know, the contracts and then also the closings, right? Because you're getting a lot, you're doing the activity, you're getting a lot of appointments. Some of the other things might be not necessarily falling into place.
Yep.
Right? How, I've talked how you want them to, but I think that one looks good. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about that.
Something that we've, made a change on, and I've been, actively looking at with the team is we've been looking at the, contacts, we've been looking at the appointments, and we've been looking at the Mets. And we are actually over 23 and 24. Now, when it comes to the closed units and, under contract, we don't have our buyers we don't have our buyers signed, and we're really buyer heavy. We don't have our buyers signed until they're approved. Right now, a lot of people are not approved. And right now, for example, you sent the lead, they'll probably be ready next year. And then when it comes to, there's also, so a lot of my clients use down payment assistance. And the down payment assistance programs that they're using can take 4 to 5 months to get approved right now. And we're in month 5. When it comes to the last few days, we've had about 5, the last few days we have 5, 6 people approved, meaning that the sign went up a lot. So
Yeah.
for June, these numbers are gonna start moving up. When it comes to the way that I look at things is, what do I have control over? Do I have control over the market? No. So am I stressing out about this? No. Because I have control over how many contacts I have, how many appointments I'm holding and scheduling. And then at the end of the day, I've been doing this for enough years that I know that it's just a matter of everything falling into place. And I think probably the second half of the year is gonna be, I think the first half of the year, probably the slowest that I've had in at least 5 years. But I think the second half of the year is probably gonna be the busiest second half that I've had, that I'm gonna have probably, and that I've had probably in the last, who knows, like maybe ever.
Questions around that?
Ever lose between the point that you with them and get approved versus signing them before they get approved?
No, I mean, if I do, I'd say not really. It has not been, I used to do that before, where I
Right,
signed them
sign up before.
before,
Right.
and, because my clients, like, my people, my clients need, it takes a while to get them approved and ready to go. A lot of the contracts were expiring before they found a house. So I didn't find a benefit in that, and I don't feel the pain to have them signed before. What I've done is, for example, in the last month, we made it a point to follow up with the people that were waiting for, some of these programs, say, hey, just so you know, when we talked, this is how long it was taking. Right now, this is what I'm hearing from the lender. We should be hearing back within X amount of time. If things change, I will let you know. So just setting the expectation that it's gonna take a while, and no, okay.
Awesome.
Right.
And
All right, so my goal is 110 meaningful relationship conversation each month, right? So you break that down, it's 3.6 per day. So it's really 3 to 4 good conversations a day is my goal. Maybe if I don't do any one day, I'm doing double the next day, right? So I was able to hit that goal, was able to have at least 55 of those. In terms of reach outs, 110, 50 is the goal, had more than that. Appointments, was looking to set 16, setting 15, low there. Closed units for the month of May, we're looking at 12 is our goal, hit 10. However, this next month, we currently have 13 closed for June, to help us catch up, and hopefully we'll get more in yet to be able to become. GCI, we were about 20,000 short, but profitability, we've been a little bit more streamlined now, so profitability was still okay, even though we were low on GCI.
I know this number, they don't know this number. You said your goal was 12 this month. Your normal goal split across the year is 11 per month for closings. Is the 12 to kind of hone in on the gap that you guys had?
Yeah, and ideally help us hit the goal easier.
Okay.
Of that too. So we set 12 from the beginning for the whole year for each month.
Yep.
Knowing that that's still above what our team goal is.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Ken? What would it look like if you went on listing appointment solo?
I've been doing that. I can actually tell you what it looks like. Oh. I'm finding them in half the time.
And now we're no longer going on them together because we can actually get 24.
Imagine what could happen.
Double your goal.
Babies sure change things.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so for my goal for last month, my goal is 110 dials. I was on track with that. I hit 110 right on the nose. Contacts, people I actually got a hold of, 25 was my goal. I got a hold of 23. Appointments, set, my goal is 5. I ended up setting 4. Contracts was 4. I ended up getting 4 contracts. Closed units was 2, ended up getting 0, had a tough month. I had, my GCI goal was 30,000. I had 2 deals one deal get pushed, and actually 2 of them got pushed. One was a lease deal, going through a brutal lease review back and forth, was anticipating we'd get it closed, and then I got some parking issues at a different office building that was supposed to close. So we're working through it, still in the works, but didn't get any GCI for this last month.
And then if you guys, Royce's commercial, so in regards to when you're looking at residential versus commercial, just so that talking. Any questions for Royce at all? Sure.
Dials, I was up a little bit. My goal was 110. I was at 115. My contacts was up at that goal, up about 11. Appointments, I did 13. My goal was 12. Contracts, my goal was 10. I had 8. Closed units, 5. I had 2, and I'm down. My goal for GCI was 25,000, and I'm just shy of 11. Hope to make that up next month. I've got about 3.5 million in listings that are coming on and closing in June. And then we're just so heavy in buyers. And they're just in the choir, I know. Don't have anything for them.
I mean, you outpaced most of the early, kind of the activity type goals, right? Which is obviously leading towards the rest of the year. How are you like for the year on the other goals? On pace, a gap?
A little down, yes.
Okay. Okay.
I just keep, the appointments, they keep coming, we keep having them, and I'm just trying to get a lot of them are listings that are just kind of on the fence. I'm hoping that we can show.
Okay. We'll go over the market center numbers in just a second. I just want to, you just heard multiple people up here tell you that their profit was in the red, right? Which is a tough thing to say in front of people. And a lot of people don't even look at their profit, right? And if they do, they either just don't open up the bank account or they don't see like where it went, right? Even when you're making commission, right? And they just said that, here's our goals, and there are ones that they were not making. So part of this whole thing is to allow you to also see that even the top producing agents don't hit every goal. And there are shifts that need to be made in the business, but the one consistent that all of them said is, I believe in the activities, and if I keep doing that, right, the pipeline will grow, or it's already there and the results will show up. I think anytime you're in the business and if you don't have the support that you need and the results aren't showing up, the immediate thing is like, run, or I need to do something different, or I need to give up on X, Y, Z, right? So again, I want to say thank you because none of the things that you guys just shared are easy to share. It's really easy to share when you see numbers up at the numbers meeting next week and you're like, hey, we had this awesome month, right? And that's fun. It's not fun sometimes to, and I think there's been different months where you guys are like, can we just not go over numbers this month? Right? Like, it's not an easy place to be at all, right? To have those honest conversations and why things are happening. So I appreciate you all for doing that and allowing everyone to learn a little bit more about you and your business. That being said, it's really interesting. We had some different records this month. Heather's not in here, not really records, but not like lifelong in regards to the amount of this market center has been open. But we hit over 100,000 in GCI or company dollar, and company dollar is the money that you pay in from your cap. And it's the first time that we've hit that since we have dropped the cap from 22 to 13, which has been what now, 4 years. We have never actually went past the 100,000 mark. So it was the first time. And part of that is because we had more agents producing, which is huge. That's a huge thing for our market center. And we had the goal is 35% of agents taking listings, right? That's the goal. Consistently for the last 3 years, we've been between 18% and 24% consistent. I cannot remember the last time that we hit over 25. And we hit 36% of our agents taking listings last month. So I don't know if it's the goal. I don't know if more agents are calling people, to get listings. But that's an awesome number to have. So to part of, you saying, hey, we need more listings, got a ton of buyers. That number is super cool to see. And it's actually not that shy of the number of agents writing contracts, which was 44%. And, our desire is to have that at the 50 to 55 mark. So we're still a little shy on that, of how many agents are actually producing and writing contracts, but I'm super proud of you for the 36% portion of it. Our total gross commission income, just for perspective, right? So the amount of commissions that are coming in is $1,371,218. So we were a little over. We were close to 1.4. Last year we only had 2 months that we didn't hit over $1 million, and we've kind of been struggling to get to that $1 million mark for GCI. So we did hit that in May. Profit share this month, we had 12,121, which is huge. That number has been a lot lower since the cap reduction a few years back. So the 12,000 was awesome for our market center to have. And again, that's going to agents, in the company, and whether they're in this market center or not, because some people have referred people to our market center that aren't even in here. Agents gained, we only gained 1 agent, we lost 1 agent, so we were net 0. Not ideal. We want to be at least 5 every single month. So we're doing some shifting on recruiting. We're doing some shifting on what that looks like. Part of this is the new agents that are coming in. What we want to see is at least 3 new agents coming in, as well as transfer agents for us to gross what we need to gross for the year. And we're shifting some things for me to be heavier on recruiting and having no other tasks on my plate. Besides coaching the top 20%. So kind of alleviating some things to make sure that I'm doing one thing that I need to do as a team leader as well. Questions for me around that? We'll save that for accountability. What? All right, well, before Jacob does his push-ups, do we have anything else in regards to the ALC meeting? Numbers, questions? No? All right, do I hear a motion to end this as Jose is off on a different task already?
Motion to end it.
Awesome. Does anybody not in the ALC have questions about those numbers or comments for the ALC members at all?
You say like you guys have been in here for so many years, would you say since there's so many buyers and this is like the year that there's been many buyers, or has there been previous years where there's more buyers than others and it's like
Question.
They said the meeting's over.
I just feel like I talk a lot, but I'll answer. So, and I hope other people jump in. So, are you in your first year? So I'll just tell, so my experience is I got into real estate at 22 years old. I looked like I was 16 and that was 2011. And back then it was pretty much only buyers or you were dealing with sellers that were in like financial hardship. And so it was definitely a buyer's market. Some economic information that I would probably write down very quickly. A balanced market, meaning it's like equal buyer seller, is a 6-month inventory. That means if no new everything we had would be gone in 6 months. Anything below a 6-month inventory is considered a buyer's market. Anything above a 6-month, I'm sorry, I did that backwards. Anything below a 6-month inventory is considered a seller's market, right? Because there's less opportunity for people to buy. Anything above that is considered a buyer's market. What's super weird, and Gary Keller will tell you this, is right now we're in a really messed up market because we have low demand and a low inventory. Normally they're not like one's high and one's low, right? So all that means is that you have equal opportunity to both. There's plenty of buyers out there that want to buy. You just have to figure out who the motivated are. We talked about this on our team the other day. I'm really sick of the idea that people think that it's no longer cheaper to buy than rent because there's even realtors putting that out there. I disagree. There's still plenty of opportunity, but you need to know how to communicate the message. And then number two is for sellers. Most sellers now are the point where they've been thinking about selling for multiple years and they've been like waiting. Most sellers need to buy them. So you just have to be able to solve people's problems. So what I would look at is where the buyers you want to work with, top 3, or even sellers. Who are the top 3 types of people you want to work with? So for me, it was first-time home buyers. And I learned everything it was about first-time home buyers. What are the down payment assistance programs? If it was a $200,000 sales price and they were putting 5% down, I needed to know roughly what their monthly payment was going to be off the top of my head. Like I knew all of that because those are the reasons people don't buy. They need to, So my conversation with people would be, they'd say, how's the real estate market? What's interesting, like, I'm curious, like, why do you ask? Are you interested in buying or selling? Well, I'm interested in buying, but I can't afford to buy. Well, just out of curiosity, why do you buy? Well, I don't have 20% down. Well, if you didn't need 20% down, would you still buy? Well, yeah. Okay, well, what if you only need 5% down? So when you can start to ask people questions, them, the market doesn't actually matter. Like whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, honestly, matter. You just need to know what to say, how to say it, and then have enough to say it. But I would know the difference between just high inventory. Because people always ask that, is the market good or not? Well, let me tell you, economic spiel.
So some of you guys mentioned how many dials you make a month. They were in the 4,000, 2,500, whatever they were.
19.
In 1905 to 1906.
No, 1904.
Yeah. But so in my database, I have maybe 800 numbers. Most like white page, like what format do you guys use to get 4,000 or to even think that's possible to make 4,000 tiles? Where do you find the numbers, I guess, is where I'm asking what I'm asking.
On mine are follow-up calls. Unless that I built over.
There's not.
But those were cold calls, like that was like a dialer that
You can get a dialer and buy the list.
Yeah. So Alex, a lot of our team, we use Mojo. It's a third-party dialing service. Through Mojo, you buy neighborhood lists. So like when Sherry's talking about, and this is another thing I would do if I were a brand new agent, I would team up with a bunch of other people and buy a Mojo dialer together that you all take turns on who uses the dialer when. And with the dialer, you could
program has.
Great. You could, okay. So you could find out the buyer needs in the office if you don't yet have your own, because there are plenty of buyer needs. talk to that listing or that buyer's agent. You'd go to Sherry and say like, hey Sherry, tell me your number one buyer that would buy today if I could find them the house they want. And she'll tell you, she'll give you all the criteria. So then go pull a map of that area. Now the key is you don't just dial those numbers once and never call them back. Like what Jacob does and what our team does is you have to stay in touch with that same neighborhood over a period of time. So you're gonna call them once. Hey, I have a buyer of so and so. Then you're gonna call through the list again, and yeah, you track through the system like who answered and says screw off, who answers and says like I'm gonna
You
stay
call them
here.
again.
I'm gonna stay here until you carry me out feet first. Like we've heard it all, right? But you take the notes, you remove the people that really don't want to until you literally get to the neighborhood. Mojo. But then if you really wanted, I would call through the neighborhood first. Then I would go door knocking. But then I would call the neighborhood again. It's not that hard and it does not take that much time. Especially if it's like a 200. But then over time, export that list, upload the people that didn't say F you to you into command, put them on a drip campaign and stay in touch with them.
Thank you so much.
Back on that question. You should do this all. But anyway.
There's 14 meetings a month, so we should fill you in at any of them. When you say like, I'm not.
When you're saying that you should keep in contact with them, like how often are we speaking? Like, okay, let's say you get this neighborhood in London and you get the callers, say after you, whatever the crap it may be, and you organize that. When are we door knocking? Are we door knocking next week or are we door knocking in a couple weeks? Or
So just to be clear, almost everything I'm saying can be found in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. So in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, Gary Keller talks about these different marketing models. We still use them today on our team. And the first way is called the 8x8. You're touching people 8 times in 8 weeks. So if you truly want to build relationship with people, now that doesn't mean you're annoying the hell out of them, right? Like you have to provide value. So on our team, when someone wants to start a farm, we have a couple little ones. It's usually a combination between stopping by their house, calling them, and mailing. And it's a rotation. So the first thing is usually a door knock. If they don't answer, we're leaving, I don't even know what we leave on their door anymore, but like we leave something behind, an item of value. Then the next week it's a call. Then the week after that, it's a mailer. It could be as simple, like don't overthink it. It could be as simple as a handwritten card. It could be as simple as pulling market statistics from InfoSparks on their neighborhood. Like what would they be interested in? Put it in a letter and mail it to them. But that's how you're staying in touch with these people. I mean, last year, and to be clear, if you start to farm a neighborhood, it takes time. Last year, I closed $2 million from my first farm that honestly I've been working on for a couple of years. But now we have more business that is starting to come out of that farm too. It just takes time. Now, if you're specifically just trying to find sellers that want to list today or that want to sell the Sherry's buyer, I would door knock the neighborhood first with Sherry's permission, with like a letter with enough detail about her client that her client doesn't sound fake. I would leave the letter behind if they don't answer. Side note, you cannot put it in a mailbox. That's fraud. And you also cannot tape it to their door. So both of those things get you in trouble. I know from personal experience, not in the mailbox, the other one.
Not in the mailbox, big fine, federal offense, actually, federal offense.
Something else we've left behind when we're farming a
Been there,
neighborhood is
done that.
we research the neighborhood and tell them what has sold for what in their own neighborhood. And they always, what? That sold for $650? That's incredible. Mine was certainly, come on in, look at the house. You know, we have really good luck with giving them this of the neighborhood.
What I do, I'm on the commercial side, but I do geographic updates. So I do what's like, I'm working in an industrial park up in Ridley. So I do a quarterly update on a particular radius of everything that's sold, everything that's just been listed over the last quarter. And I send out a quarterly Ridley update. And then if I've closed anything, I'll usually talk about that or give some sort of anecdote. Then usually talk about interest rates too. I think a lot of buyers and sellers are interested in that information. So that would be something that'd be super easy. Just research the comps that have sold or that have just listed over the last quarter. And usually people are pretty interested in that information. That's a good talking piece. The conversation started.
And when you go door knocking, we've had really good success on rainy and snowy days because more people are home and they're more willing to let you into their house.
It doesn't always have to be real estate content either. Look up events that are happening in the area in the next 3 months and give them a little what they can do with their family.
No, she told me to say when it was done.
Definitely say that it could be like a newsletter, what you would put on a monthly newsletter, but now you're giving it.
We got our highest response rate in our farm when we dropped off brown and Cup Foods like donated brown paper bags to us. And we stapled a little flyer to it that said we were doing a food drive for the local food pantry. And they just needed to text us if they filled the bag and put it on their front step and we would pick it up. We now have their personal cell phone number.
All right, if you guys have other questions, we'll be downstairs as well, at the, grill out so that you can ask them individually. But otherwise, thank you guys for coming here and then wants and needs, yeah.
Real fast one. Like, I know there was a seller net sheet, done recently. Is that recorded somewhere where?
That's on our YouTube channel. Yeah, wants and needs, get to Lydia by 2:00 today, and those are buyer needs or listing new, that she can email out, this afternoon. Get those to her by 2:00. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
You guys want June 19th or July 9th?
Yeah, I first saw you there, buddy.
Last night.
Yeah, no problem.
Got me to get her bill today. So.
Oh, looking at that exact same place there. Oh, okay, awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready to?
It's like it's really cool. That's how I tore my biceps, throwing stuff in her. I don't know. Pseudo.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.